Yeah, greetings, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow listeners, colleagues. We are back. This is COMETSA Radio Worldwide, CRW. My name is Tsima. I am your moderator of the show. This is the review of the book, Holistic Career Development Coaching and Mentorship Perspective. We are reviewing chapter by chapter, week by week. Today we are at chapter 8, inspired by football. Let me tell you a little bit about the radio, COMETSA Radio Worldwide, the mind, the journey, the destiny. We apply our mind to the journey that takes us to our destiny. We inform and entertain. We develop and educate. We empower and support. We associate and network. That is the idea. Welcome, colleagues. We have been on this journey and it goes on. I am, as always, joined by my fellow moderator, Mai Mutuvatse, and our resident anchor, that is Spice Bauva Pogole. Today we are not with our friend Franz Ramutla. He's taken a day off from the radio, but I know that he's going to be tuning in from the public listener platform. Bauva, welcome, greetings to you. Are you inspired by village football?
Very much so. Thank you for bringing us together. We are going to enjoy this evening together with some of the well-known Sekhukhune area footballers. They'll be giving us all these goodies for the evening, and welcome everybody.
Thank you, Bauva. Honorably, you have honored Mr. Mutuvatse here.
Yeah, very much so. He is one of the great people in our culture. Mutuvatse is not just a small fry, he's a big man.
Kinokamhlak. Thank you so much, and over to you, Mai Mutuvatse. Say hi to the listeners and few words.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, listeners and my fellow colleagues. This is Mai Mutuvatse, and I'm very excited because, I used to be a footballer myself, so this chapter is very close to my heart, and I hope you will all enjoy it. Thank you.
Indeed. Yeah, and Ramutla will have also said the same, because he said that he used to be involved in the administrative side of football to a point that he wouldn't be promoted, but all his players will be promoted because of his good work. Yeah, no, indeed. We have brought the true graduates of the village football from Sekhukhune. They might be based in Gauteng, but they are indeed the Sekhukhune boys. We're going to be in conversation with Patrick Tsima from Madibong Village in Sekhukhune. And please put your phone on silent, those who have got phone next to them. And then, of course, Monamoledi Rampedi from Manganeng Village. He tells me that whenever they see him, they always say, Jersey number 10 is here. Yeah, so they have so much insight into many other village football clubs in Sekhukhune. So we are really looking forward to conversation. This is a conversation, and this chapter is really talking about how village football played a role in all of us upbringing, and hopefully we will learn today what the difference between village football and other football is. So yeah, let's jump into it without rushing. Indeed, Bauba, some people might not really know you much. Maybe just tell them a little bit about who is Spice Bauba Srogoli Porol.
Okay, I am an associate of COMETSA, which is a company that is owned by Mr. Tsima. I have been participating in this book review right from the day the book was launched on the 31st of March in Newtown in downtown Johannesburg. And I've been participating in all the different chapters that we have covered. My background is I'm a human capital development person for the last 50 years or so. And so I'm interested in this thing. When the book was launched, my excitement was about how did this really happen? The good thing about personal development, something that people should actually aspire for, something I wish our young people can actually say, I want to develop my career, I want to develop my profession, I want to contribute and leave legacy for other people to come or the younger people. So that is my background. I'm interested in this. I'm on the radio every week together with Maya and Samsim.
Wonderful, wonderful. Mai?
Yes, I'm Mai Mutubadze. I'm a creative director of multi-base media projects. I'm also a art activist. I'm a creative director of Monday Blues on a Wednesday, which is a platform whereby we discover young artists, young poets, young musicians, comedians. And yes, basically I'm more involved in the arts and also in audiovisual coverage and filmmaking, script writing. Yes, that's just about it. And I'm very pleased to be here tonight. Thank you.
And you have become my twin now in moderating this conversation, this book review, chapter by chapter. Yeah, I'm sure most of the listeners know me. I'm also a village boy by birth, coming from also Sekhukhune, having played for my own football club, or used to call it Musehleng Shining Stars, Up the Stars. We used to just to call it Shining. That's when I really learned to play football using the rubber balls, the plastic balls that we started learning playing football with. And then, of course, graduated into the club called Muripane Scientists, Vramahlale, which originally they used to call it Muripane Lekatika Los Mecheri. The troublemakers. That is what our uncles used to call it. And when it played, the whole village will come to a standstill. Little did I know that that was really the foundation of me and football going forward. And of course, when we moved to scientists, this is us who changed the name and say, let's look at something a little bit more progressive. And that's when we renamed the club Muripane Scientists. Until today, I still haven't come across any other club called Scientists in Sekhukhune. So that is the only scientist in Sekhukhune so far, in as far as I'm concerned. But without waste of time, let's start with our guests. I call them the graduates of village football of Sekhukhune. Pat, Many people know you here in the Gauteng side. I'm sure you will tell them a little bit more about that. But when you are down there in Sekhukhune, what formed you when you were growing up? Maybe tell the people who you are, where did you grow up, what do you do, and what is your relationship to village football? Up to here, of course.
Okay. Thank you, Sam, and good evening, colleagues. Good evening, Mike, Spice, Jesse number 10, Monamoledi. Good evening, Mike Mlaba in the background as well. Also extending my greetings to the listeners of COMETSA Radio Worldwide. Thank you, Sam, for the opportunity. Spice to Tomaka Ofaka pressure fell like a reto, and then I'm thinking, yo. then I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe, yeah. Anyway, thanks, Spice. Yeah. Let me take it from maybe a little bit from the top. I go by the name Nchwape Patrick Tsima. I hail from the very humble village of Madibong, under the section of Mokwajana section in Madibong. And Madibong is found in Jane First Town, which is in Mariti Makrutamaga local municipality under Sekhukhune District municipality in the Limpopo Province. I am by profession, I'm a senior logistics controller with INVESTEC for Business, which is a division of INVESTEC Bank, a logistics division of INVESTEC Bank. Is the job that I'm doing now for 23 years and counting. And I have a very interesting story about how that all came about, and it's all due to COMETSA's work that I've been involved with, and that I got to find myself where I am at the moment. I'm also a team manager for Joburg City FC in a team that we will traditionally call it SAB team, because it was famously always sponsored by SAB in the olden days, but now now we will relatively call it the regional league that is playing under Ekurhuleni Safa region. So I'm a team manager there. I'm also an under 15 prem coach for Corinthians Football Club, which is a sister club, for a lack of a better word, to Joburg City FC. I'll tell you the connection a little bit later about how they relate together. And so, if I'm to say, so my entire life growing up in Madibong is in Ramokgwajana section to where I am today has always been football, and I started at the village of Madibong. Everything that I am today, and everything that I own today, and everything that I got to become throughout my journey of development, I owe it to football, because of what I got out of football from the young age of 6 until this moment up to today. I still play football actively, even though I moved in the space of management and coaching. So, growing up,
Hold it there. Are you still having some insights in terms of yourself, or are you going into the discussion of the topic?
Let me go inside. Let me expand a little bit on myself as well.
Yeah.
Apart from what I've just mentioned as well, a lot of people will know me as a resident DJ of COMETSA Radio Worldwide, hosting the Sunday Sports Development Show with Coach Tsima, me and myself. And I'm also the non-executive director of COMETSA Development Agencies. And I've been involved with COMETSA from the inception, and back in the days when we started COMETSA in the early 90s in the Hillbrow regions of Johannesburg. I've been involved with many activities at COMETSA. I wear so many hats that it's unbelievable that we were able to carry all of those. And having grown up in Jane First, I grew up in a family of three boys. I can call 3 boys and a single mom. And the only thing that we knew in the area where I grew up, together with my peers that I grew up with, it was just about playing football. So that is about myself. I hope I've covered about almost everything that I am. Sam will guide me if there is anything that you need me to dig into.
Sure. Great. Jersey number 10.
Sam?
Yeah, over to you, Monamoledi.
Okay. Good evening, listeners. Evening, Sam, Spice, Mike at the background.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Mike said, I'm also very happy to be here. And then this topic also is very close to my heart because my whole life has been football. And everywhere I go, they know me about football. I also grew up in Manganeng Village under Sekhukhune District. And then went to school to Holane Secondary School. And then after, I came to Gauteng and then further my studies. I enrolled in civil engineering. And then I did NCV from level 2 until level 4 completed. From there, I went further and then went to do N4, N5, and N6. So by profession, I did civil engineering. But currently, I'm working at Novussun Products, working as a quality controller there at Novussun Products. So growing up in Manganeng Village, I think from the age of 10, 11, I've been playing for a team, Batau and Killers. That team is more like my home team. It carries a lot of a history in our village. And then my uncle used to play for that team, and he was a star at that team.
So you're taking after him.
I took after him. And after every game, when I play the game, the elders at the village, they say, you remind me of your uncle.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't watch my uncle play. But then in my language, what I fetish.
Meaning that you have taken after him and even exceeded.
Excelled, yeah.
Excelled.
Yeah. And then you know,
who's your uncle? For those who don't know, Monamoledi.
In every village when you grow up, is watching football. There must be a player that inspires.
Yeah.
Me, I was inspired by Skarangowes.
Okay.
And mind you, I saw him live because like every holiday I used to come to Gauteng. So I saw Skarangowes playing. I told myself, I go home. This kind of player will introduce it when I go home.
Yeah.
And then when I go home, I used to call myself Skarangowes. And to the date that my village, I don't know me as Scar.
Wonderful. Just before we proceed, what is your uncle's name for those who don't know?
I know him as Papedi.
Yeah.
Papedi Ramushu. And then growing up, they gave him a nickname Tiki.
Yeah.
Maybe he was the famous. I don't know.
Yeah.
They used to call him Tiki.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was a star.
Yeah, he used to be a guest player at Muribane, and whenever he was around, it was like Jazino coming for Kaiser Chiefs. Okay, beautiful. If we talk about football, we may even deviate from the work of reviewing the book. Yeah, let me hand over to Mai and Bauba to lead you guys into then the section where you are going to tell us what this book is showing to you, or what you discovered as you read in the book. Bauba?
Okay. but before that, perhaps one should just mention that, especially on my side, Monamoledi and Pet, I know that area inside out. Madibong, Madibong, Sarisa Tsiwego, kwa phasi kwa Ntsweleta o Mashitile gona wa. I grew up around this area, Bujetane and so on. And when you talk about the good football players during my time, we talked about Wutler. He was one of the good footballer from Manganeng, playing for the secondary school in Schoonoord. He was very, very good. But in any case, when you read the book, the emphasis and somebody is trying to bring in is that there are certain things that we shouldn't just take for granted. Some things that actually help us, that help people to develop, particularly in this case, that there are certain perspectives, certain things that he experienced. And in this case, it's about football. How did football make him what or contribute to what he is in his professional as well as in his personal career? So those are some of the things I think we should actually get into, even for ourselves and yourself, to say, the football has helped me to grow this way, that way, that way. I did this, I was coaching, like some of you have already mentioned, I was a good player. We organized transport for our teams and so on and so on. So you're welcome. Let's enjoy together.
Okay.
Well, Spice, let me jump in and say to you, I mentioned earlier on in my introduction that I owe everything that I am today to football.
Exactly.
I started playing football when I was 6, and everything about my life from that point on has always been about football. I will get into a lot of trouble with the old lady because but I want rumile somewhere and then I go play football and I remember some hours later that, oh, by the way, I was supposed to go buy tomatoes or supposed to go buy bread and then by the time I get home they enough of waiting and stuff like that. And that is a passion that was in me as I was born. And to be honest, I don't even know how it came about, but I suppose I have two brothers, Sam and Mabushe, who obviously played football as well, and I could kind of say it was probably in the family. It runs in the family, and that's where I took from. Because I know following Mabushe a lot of time when he was going to play football, and I will always be there with them, and that's why I started early as a 6-year-old. And I must say, I was saying to Sam at the book launch that growing up we were reading about the Boom Macbeth, Julius Caesar, and living those people's perspectives. And we did not realize that we have our own perspective, or we did not know that we have our own perspective that we can actually introduce into the mainstream educational programs to teach our people our own, or what I can call a home perspective of who we are and who we want to be and how we can become those kind of people. I'm saying this because playing football, for me, it wasn't motivated by anything visual, because when we growing up in Jane First in the early 70s and the 80s, we did not have a TV where we could watch football from. We will listen to Jimmy Mushaloga on Tobela FM. We will listen to all those commentators on Tobela FM broadcasting a football match and just get inspired and go onto the field and play football. I remember my nickname as a young boy when I was hardly 11, 10. I was nicknamed after Asen Zolengwe, whom I've never seen before. And I must put disclaimer: I had never seen Ace Ntolenge before playing football because I was never in Johannesburg. I was never in Johannesburg, and we never had a TV where we could watch football. So I don't know if people named me because of the skill that I possessed at the time, or they named me because I just happened to be Patrick as well, or and had a bit of a big head as well.
You were lucky, Pat. You were lucky that you were given a name. During my time, we chose names for ourselves.
Nicknames. but you know, Pat, what I'm hearing from all of you is that what I'm hearing is that you're going back to what the author here says, because if you look at the very first line in chapter 8, inspired by village football, Sam says village football played a pivotal role in my personal and professional development journey, and that's what I've been hearing from you guys, that somehow it wasn't just a sport to you, but it was also a transition as from being a young man and growing up and learning, because I also played football, but I played football in Soweto. And one thing that I know about football is that you learn to know right from wrong, and it also at the same time, just like any other form of art, it builds character. So what I'm hearing from you is that you also had what Sam explains here, that it kind of built him, it made him who he is.
That's the truth. Because it also helps you to be a good leader. But just like me, I think like each and every team that I've played for, I've been elected as a captain. Because of the dedication that I have for football and the passion that I have. And like in the book, like Sam said, he was a whistleman. I was also a whistleman. Little did I know that being a whistleman is teaching me to be very punctual.
Yes.
Punctual. Even when I'm going to work, I will never be late at work.
Yes.
So that's why leadership taught me a lot.
Yeah. The other thing, Spice, if I can jump in as well, it molded us a lot. I'm speaking of being in trouble with my old lady whenever I unrumile or to the shop and stuff like those. But the one good thing about my about the football that put my mother at ease and her peers, the other mothers in the village, is they only knew that they knew that we had only two places that they would find us. We were either at school or on the football field.
Exactly.
That would be all the moms in the area. They knew where to find us, and they knew that we will always be together. So even if there was not issue or the child gone missing and we don't know where to find him and stuff like those, because the kids that you grow up with, and if they don't see you on the field that day, they will go to your mom's place and say, they go to your house and say, "Where's Patrick today? We need him here."
Yes,
and then mom will say, "Yeah, but he's supposed to be with you guys." Then you're in trouble.
But
So you're either
But if I may jump in then ask you, in the book, Prasem says, he kind of adopted a healthy lifestyle as a young village footballer, and knowing him, knowing him even today, he still maintains that balanced diet. He's still exercising. I just want to hear from you in terms of that. Did you kind of follow a certain diet? Because from what I can remember as a footballer, back in the days then, I ate everything.
Okay.
So
just a minute. I think Pat was still telling us a very interesting story. Maya will come back to that one. He was just telling us about the relationship between him and the mother vis-a-vis football. And it reminds me, also in my case, my mother never allowed me to go and play. He said, "Well, what do you gain from playing? You don't play, you don't do these things. You must wash dishes, you must clean, you must do this and this." And here and there you have a nice little time and you sneak out and you go and play. But what I like about what Paddy is saying is that football actually helped the children to come together. Either they're looking after the cattle or they're going to play football together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we just give me a chance to deal with that one and before we come in?
Yes. So I was very fortunate. I'm coming from the borderline in a section and the Schoonoord section. So before I went in the book, they talk about me joining Magapung, but actually there's teams before Magapung. That I needed to mention. So when I was 6 years old, there was an old lady who was a friend with my mom and the mothers in the area called Mapo. So Mapo gave us the space in front of her house in a yard and formed the team. She named Mapo Junior Chiefs. So all the kids.
Well, you played for Chiefs. You are a former Chiefs player.
I know Monamoledi will have fun with that. So all the boys in the area, we all played for Mapo Junior Chiefs. And then we will always be there. Mapo will call all the moms and everybody to come and assemble there. Whenever we play football, they will be ululating, they will be shouting this, they will be doing this, and they will doing that in support of the kids as we play football. There are a lot of teams from Sekhukhune, Masiolong, Kastichabeng, and everywhere else, because we were at the junior level. We were not traveling across villages, just in the sections in the same village. We'll come there and get a nice whipping at Mapo Junior Chiefs, knowing Patrick Ace Tsima and aka Ace and stuff like those. So that I think it brought our moms together, and it brought us together as the kids when we're growing up to be united and to be friends as we're going. And we played that football for many years until I think the age of 11, 12. And that's when we needed to transition into the semi-senior football, because the junior football wasn't for us anymore. And then at the time there was a team called, as stated on the book, Magapung FC, which was a stretch away from my Mapo and onto the other side. But myself and the boys from Mapo Junior Chiefs, Magapung had a junior team, by the way, called Jiragajwane. Jiragajwane, those who know, Magapung is a plural for Lerapu, which is a watermelon. And the Jiragajwane, Jiragajwane is a for a lack of a better word, it's a small, it's a watermelon as is still a small thing. It's still rising. It's still coming out.
It's actually underdeveloped one.
Yeah.
Yes. So next to Magapung there was Jiragajwane. So now Mapo Junior Chiefs didn't have a senior team to join into except Magapung. But we had such a rivalry with Jiragajwane that it meant that if we graduate into Magapung, we're going to be graduating into our rivals then. So we now have to pretend to be friends. Then we decided, no, we're not going to join Magapung. We decided to, myself, Bumushiko Matebane, through the assistant of their uncle, Peter Matebane, we formed a splinter team from Magapung, not a splinter per se, but a parallel team to Magapung called the New Kids FC. Because we had wanted to find our identity and maintain it and play football the way we understood it, so that Jiragajwane can remain, even in Magapung's status, can remain the what they call the rivals to us, because we wanted that rivalry to continue. But as fate will have it, Magapung was a giant. It was big. It was just overpowering everybody, and the New Kids FC never lasted too long. So we had to humble ourselves and go back to Magapung and say, can we be accommodated into it?
We'll come back to you. Are you happy, Bauva?
Just one comment, and I don't want to miss this one.
Yes.
Gentlemen, we are talking about the village football. This is what I'm hearing coming out very loud and clear. And what impresses me is when Mapo, the lady, actually starting a club, just for the village, for the children, and so on. So this is very, very impressive, and that's where development comes from.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's good. I'm happy.
And also, like Sam mentions, in the book that on I think it's page 139 at the top of the page, he says, through sports, I quote, through sports we sharpen our practical way of being and build confidence as actors or doers. We express ourselves through movement and action, display our energy levels from when we are young through activities, and gain confidence in life. So if you can listen to that, it's the emphasis is on what football can do to a young man. And as you grow, as we know that once, at a very subtle stage of a person when you're still young, that's where Kaspedi Bare Roger Tupe Roger Isale meets. Meaning that when you teach somebody while they're still young, it stays. The retention is still agile. So what Sam is saying here is that once you gain confidence at that age, you grow with that, and what I'm hearing right now, it's a testimony to that Pat, you played football, and if you were to look at your life back then and your life today, because also the book, Sam mentions that it also helped him understand coaching, which is very powerful and very important to understand, because you learn to take instruction and learn to give instruction at the same time. Because as a player, you take instruction from a coach, but you also give instruction inside the field, which is part of development. And Pat, with what you're doing today, where do you see the influence of soccer?
And perhaps Monamoledi can also come in there.
Yes.
Okay, I can also come in there. And I think being a coach, you start when you still play.
Yes.
So just like myself, as I said, I used to be captain at all the teams I've played for. If the jobs are doubts, you are the one who have to come with a plan. What must we do? How can we defeat the opponent? And as a captain, you have to play and also be able to read the game. Know how who's good with what. Like when I used to play, when the jobs are down, I myself will carry the responsibility, because I was one of the skillful players. When I see that the game, the players are not in the game, I will carry a ball myself and do Lionel Messi. Yes. But I was not good in scoring. I can dribble all the players.
Yes.
But then give someone to score the goal.
Yes.
And mind you, I've enjoyed being as more of a assistant goal scorer. Most of the time, I assist, but I'm not a goal scorer.
But Mo, Mo, I understand what you're saying, and because you are still involved in soccer,
yes,
on your part, I understand the impact that village football has given you. I can understand the impact. I want to hear from Pat, because you have moved from playing soccer, you have moved, now you're into another space. And I just want to know, how do you see the impact of village football in your daily application of your work?
So can I sorry, Mike, with respect, can I just come in there?
Yes.
This is becoming so interesting. Let's not rush it. I think I don't want us to miss some other elements right at the back in terms of the talent that came from a 6-year or 11-year-old child playing soccer and developing. What I was going to ask Pat, and I'll come back to Monamoledi. Pat said he was playing at that age, and I wanted to know, and I'm building up on your question you're making now. How did that 11-year-old child use soccer to come to where he is now? Perhaps is maybe asking for too much, but I'm interested that somebody who is talented and realized the talent at the age of 11 actually developed up to where and beyond what it is now.
Okay. So we at that 11, 13, you moved to Magapung Football Club.
Yeah.
So one thing that we need to agree and we need to be appreciative of about football is that it's a team sport.
Yeah.
So if you cannot function in and within the team, as good as you are, you might not be useful to the team or to the game itself.
Yes.
And that's what all teaches us from the young age. We were very privileged that in our young age, from Limpopo Junior Chiefs and Magapung and the many other teams that I played for, the visiting teams in Mamone when I used to visit there, is that we held each other accountable. We will sit and coach each other on the field, off the field, and criticize each other on every single thing that is happening for the betterment of the team. You ought to be forced to realize or to pick it up to say, this means we all ought to be pulling together for the common purpose. There will never be anybody who will be going south when the rest is going east. Because then the system will kick you out automatically without us having to tell you, and that was the reality of it, and that humbleness and that understanding of the team dynamics and the structures within the team made it possible for us to be allocated various responsibilities within the team and never question them. Like you could be called up to be a captain. It's because the majority has seen the ability in you to lead the team into the matches, into whatever that needs to be happening. You could be asked to count money. You could be asked to be a caretaker and whatever that the team asks you. There was a stage when you have to do it for the team and not yourself. So the I had always been removed out of it. So that is painting a picture of where I am today and what this football taught me. I mean, I can give you example. I say I'm transitioning from Limpopo Junior Chiefs and I'm joining Magapung Football Club as a star, by the way, as Patrick Ace in Okay, so when I walk into Magapung, I walk into Magapung and I expect to be a starter. You get? I expect to be a starter, and as I come into Magapung, and then I meet a captain who also doubled as a coach, for a lack of a better word, albeit not been appointed. And his name is Matibelele River. We just called him Puma. So that guy was deciding who plays and who starts and who comes out and so forth and so forth. And he will never be questioned because the team had given him that responsibility. So we come in the first match, when we're supposed to play the first match, what you call our inaugural match as Magapung players now. I'm sitting on the bench. And the boys that I came from junior level, they starting the game ahead of me, and I know I'm better than these boys. I'm wondering to myself, I think that day I almost walked back home and say, you know what, I'm wasting my time. So Puma pulls me by the sideways because he could see that I was disappointed, dejected, and I was almost withdrawn. You understand? So he calls me to the side and he says, Mfana, that's what he called me. He says, Mfana Git, Mfana Tsima, because they only know Mabushe, my other brother, as Tsima. And me, if I say I'm Tsima, I'll struggle to be related. So, Mfana Tsima, let me tell you something. Kinyaga ball, boy. Yeah? How are you teaching me ball umpele benjim? Or no? Hang in there. Relax. Your time will come. Get over the ball. One,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4 games into the season, I'm not playing.
On the
Game at
bench.
home with him. They're practicing every single day. Can't what's happening? The day when he decided to draft me in the starting lineup, he placed me right back. I'm like, goodness. And then where's this coming from? And I told you, I know exactly everything about you. And true to God, he was watching us as we were playing in the junior stuff like this. So that alone taught me a lot of things that I am in my because a lot of you will know that I'm a football development
Coach.
I'm a football development coach. I qualify with Confederation of African Football B license, which is the highest coaching license in Africa. And a lot of those humbleness and a lot of those lessons that I learned at that level, albeit not being aware, by the way, at the time that I was actually learning the life lessons, I am still using them today, and I inspire a whole lot of kids that I coach in my coaching sessions today that we will come back to at the later stage of the show as well.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
but-
Can I just, for the last time, just bring Rampedi Gamu or in his case, let's also give him a chance.
I wanted exactly that because he had started something quite very interesting, the discipline coming through being a whistle man. And
Yes.
all the admin that he had to do. He told me that at some stage he used to transport the club. It looks like
Yes.
he was a quite a lot of things at Manganeng.
He was actually Jomason.
I was all in one. All in one.
Yeah, tell us about it and what did you learn and what are those activities, starting with the whistleman.
Oh, okay. Being a whistleman. Okay. Every day you have to make sure that you are in. Because if you are not in, that means the whole team they wanna be late. And Mandu, you just do it for the love of the game. If it might happen where the other day you are late, the whole team will blame you. And they don't pay you. You just do it for the love of the game. Just imagine. In transporting, I think each and every team at Manganeng, they know exactly if they are going to the tournament, which transport is reliable. They will come to it. And when it comes to Batau and Kila, actually I used to transport for free. Because I saw that this team is struggling, doesn't have anything. And at that time, I think it was the year 2014 when I was home.
Now it's a Koloya Papa.
Yeah, so, what made me to I can say maybe sponsor them. They had a vision. That vision was a very good vision. They had the goal. Their dream was to buy a new jersey with the money that they win on the field of the play. So when I look at this goal, I said, these boys, I need to help them. Because ever since I played for Batau and Killers, I've never seen Batau and Killers who were in the new jerseys. But I told myself, this time I'm going to make it. Even if I'm not in the field of the play, but I'm going to help them. And Mandu, I went back to a shop and buy the cogs. I was a coach, a player, almost everything. And even Pat can relate. I can still remember the last time we went to the tournament, we were at Magapung. I think he was almost retired, Pat. I was wearing the jersey. I was ready to get in, but then when I count, they said, okay, the players are all in. Okay, I said, let me sit on a bench so that I can coach them, because I'm also good in coaching. And most of the time, I like to sit on the bench because I'm a good reader of the game. I know if the shots are down, I'll get in. And surely when I'm getting in, there's no way the team can score. I'll make sure that they score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So both
Why
of
you
you,
wanted to ask some questions earlier?
It's
I'm sure
number
you
10.
Number 10.
Yeah, I said jersey number 10.
This is number 10, I think.
yes.
How can I put it? Because there's each and every team that I've played for, I've awarded this number 10.
Were you given the jersey? Were you given the jersey, or you always chose the jersey?
sometimes I choose, sometimes I'm like, no. lot of people, they're scared to wear this number 10 because that jersey, it carries a lot of history.
Heavy.
And it's very
Yes.
heavy.
Yes,
So-
expectation becomes high.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember one game in sprints. The only medal that I have, the gold. I think I have two, but the gold medal that I have in sprints. At the final, the game I started on the bench, and all players they took their jerseys. All of them did their jerseys, but they left number 10 there. So it was not, I was the one who was supposed to take it, and I took it. And mind you, I was not at that team.
So somehow, Mo, even you, Pat, what I'm hearing from you is that through village soccer, you affirm what Sam Tsima has written, because in the book, Sam was also organizing games, which and there he mentions that, assuming that responsibility, you have to know how to draft a letter. Because you just go to the next team and say, hey, we want to challenge you. You had to write a letter. So somehow that also is part of development that he learned at that early age. Even you mentioned more that you also organized transport. You are transporting people. This is what Sam also mentioned in the book, that organizing transport was one of his chores. In the team, one of his assignments in the team, and he also played a caretaker role, whereby he had to wash the kit, he has to take care of the ball, make sure that the ball is well washed, it's clean. If it had torn, he'll have to sew it. All those kind of things. So somehow, what I'm hearing from you is that you also learned a lot in terms of those packages. You still carry them even today. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
Absolutely.
Even here at COMETSA, there's something called Lokhota. Do you know what this word Lokhota comes from? It comes from the village football. Each and every practice session, after a section, we go to Lokhota.
Yes.
And then there must be someone who's a chairman.
Yeah.
I was once a chairman. So you see, the village football taught us a lot of things.
And that meeting after playing, when you are sweaty, wanting to run home, and then you got another one.
You have to go to Lokhota.
Yes. We call others to discipline, to order. We call each other to order. We discuss the affairs of the team, what happened past weekend and what happened the next weekend and stuff like this. We didn't have Indugu, as you will use it, Rasem, but there was an order, because you wouldn't dare disrespect the sitting chairperson of that particular day. You will give them the respect that they require, and they will rule over the affairs of the club, and we will all have a consensus on what did happen. So, my what Spice was talking earlier on, I'm gonna be biased and say, of many chapters in the book, this is for me like the most appropriate one to that holistic career development, coaching, and mentoring perspective, because a lot of things that we were learning then, Spice, is that I'm saying we were unconsciously, we were not consciously aware that it was a development of some sort that we're going through. For us, it was just fun. It was just fun to be together and just play. But I look back today and I'm saying, we have to go back home one day and sit our little brothers and sisters back home and say to them, listen, do you know that this is what you're doing now, that you're undermining or you're taking for granted? Will lead you to where we are today. You understand?
Wonderful.
I mean,
wonderful.
I'm talking about meeting COMETSA. We met COMETSA through football, because first when COMETSA started, it was first FC COMETSA Football Club, and out of that, exactly, Goldstones football, COMETSA Goldstones, and out of that, many careers were born. Some of us will find ourselves in logistics through the connection of the football, and many other guys that I can talk of. They in engineering, some are in various departments, and
Can we just hold it there? What we are going to do actually towards the end of this, we are actually going to unpack the whole thing and say, can we look at number of things that we have planned through this thing? For now, I'm still excited. We are still looking at the football. We are talking about the talent. We are talking about how it is being organized, how we played, and then the different teams and so on and so on. It is very exciting.
Yeah.
Is there something else that you want to add to what you have done up to now in terms of the village thing, the spirit within the village, about the village football?
Can I just share something about village football? You know, when we were growing up in Soweto, the times when we travel to what we used to call the homelands at the time, to play some of these teams. And to be honest, I don't know how many teams from Limpopo that were called Chiefs that we played with. The difference was just the same name. Because you'll find junior Chiefs, you'll find Rampedi Chiefs. So much so that there was even a joke when we came back. We said, they are competing about who's the biggest team between Chiefs and Pirates, because you'll find Junior Pirates, you'll find Moroka Swallows, Moroka Swallows, Monamoledi Rampedi. The difference was just the first name, but the second name was the same. And we made a joke that we had a team that was called Sekhukhune Black Pirates and Chiefs, and it was its jersey was maroon and white, which was Moroka Swallows. And the slogan was "The sky is the limit." So they wanted to overcome all the other teams, all the other Chiefs and Pirates. They were all these teams.
Wonderful. I'm watching time, Bauba, and really laid the foundation. When we come back in the second hour, we're going to unpack a lot of all this, because, I mean, this is speaking to all of us, and I hope the listeners are also, as they enjoy our jokes and everything, they are also connecting with what actually the objective of the chapter is. Not to underestimate the milestones that you went through, especially football related, that have delivered you where you are now. So maybe we will be taking 10 minutes break. We are going to stop at 5 to now. It's almost top of the hour, basically. And we will come back in 10 minutes at 5 past. No, in 5 minutes.
Okay.
7 minutes at 5 past. Maybe just quick, we left with 1 minute. Anybody want just to quickly reflect on this first talk? And as Bauba said, when we come back in the second hour, we are really going to unpack a lot of things coming from your reading of the book now that you have shared with us your experience and Bauba.
Yes. Yeah, we'll definitely cover that. It is very, very important. I really didn't want to spoil. Let's have enough time for that, Brasem. We'll summarize it before we move to the next.
Yes, I think our listeners now know who Tsima is and who jersey number 10 Monamoledi Rampedi is. So that is very important, and then also what they are doing currently outside football, because it's football that gave them the discipline that they introduced them to the type of careers they do today. We must also link those. Yeah, so I hope the listeners are not going to go away. After 5 minutes, they will join us as we take it to the next hour and really look into what we can do to contribute to what is going on out there in the communities, villages, townships, cities, everywhere. Let's hold it there. Just stay in the studio, colleagues. Don't go away. And the listeners, please come back in 5 minutes' time as we unpack the rest of the chapter.
Involved. For instance, you mentioned, I'm not sure in this chapter where you talk about when there is soccer, when you are playing, you would not have another event such as a wedding taking place. Where else in the township that can happen.
Actually, the other way around. You will not
Yes.
have football.
Well, in most cases, you will have both, but those that are affected by the wedding would not be at the football.
Exactly.
And that will bring you at loggerheads with the coaches and your teammates. I mean, really, we lost a game because you're not there because of a wedding. So that's why I see the differences, and I envy those that played village football. And also, what I'm hearing is that in most cases, because of the townships, I mean, Soweto is such a large township with many sections. And with us, you'll find that, for instance, I'm from Tladi, and in Tladi, we had Tladi Kellys, we had Tladi Morning Star, we had Dark Angels, we have Tladi Pirates, we have Gallon. We probably had like six to eight teams in one small township. Where else in the village, you were more like Premier League, because in Premier League every town has its own team.
Yeah.
And that makes it interesting, because it makes the whole town to be in support of one team. And it makes, when one team is playing, you've got the whole town coming to watch that team. Whereas with us, it always depended on which team is playing which team. I would find that although there are people that are close to Kadikelis, but when Kadikelis is playing with West End, for instance, which was on another club from Kladi, West End at the time, it was very like your lowest football team. There would not be as many people as Kadikelis is playing Orlando Kladi Pirates, or is playing Kladi Morning Star.
For us, it was irrespective. Village football club.
Yes.
Welcome back. Welcome, Pat. As you can hear, we are already trying to define is township football different to village football.
Yeah.
They are all football, but they are distinguished by the culture and the practices.
Really?
And I think we can take it from there as you reflect also on the previous segment. And then, of course, lead us into the next segment, where we are going to focus primarily on what is coming out of the book and what the colleagues are picking up as they do the review. Over to you, Uba and Pat.
Okay, no, thank you. No, thanks. Welcome back. Just before we had a break, we had just had a clear picture of how some of the clubs were started, how the people were played, the names that they were given, and the numbers that people wore, and so on and so on. But and the spirit that actually permeated right through all the clubs there. What I would like us to look at is how can we differentiate that time, the type of clubs, the organization, and everything then and now. Is there something that we can say the current clubs can actually learn something from the previous ones, and then something that can also be learned from these current ones?
Two words about
That is the right to answer that, because he's very much in the middle of it in his current involvement.
Yeah. Two words. One, passion.
Yeah.
Two, commitment. And when I talk about commitment to the cost that takes you. And I need to be careful about this. Commitment to the cost that takes you nowhere, or the commitment to the cost that you don't know where it takes you to. because you're so committed to this football, just playing, and really at that age, there's no defined destination. I never, until I passed matric, I never really thought of myself playing professional. Remember, even Ace Ntoleng, I didn't know who Ace Ntoleng was, except hearing on the radio and every now and then. So for me, it was never even a profession. I never knew I was going to land where I am. Hence, I said earlier on when I was speaking that I think for many years we lived foreign perspectives. And I will encourage everybody, and I will encourage even the local writers that are in the same space with Sam and everybody that is out there that are writing about the South African perspective. I would encourage everybody that is a lesson that we need to be following out there and stuff like those. When I arrive in Gen First today, that passion of football is now competing with many other things that are impossible to stop. So now you need to entice it beyond the word in comparison to our olden days when we were playing. I mean, I can give you example. Now when we were growing up, it was only football. Even the netball that was played by the ladies was like a visitor within the sport space. Many other sports codes, we learn them as we go and stuff like those. And we just committed. We played until we got tired. And that those are the two ways that I'm talking about: passion and commitment. That is a differentiating factor.
Okay, thank you very much. And Monamoledi, sorry.
Yes.
In your case, any comments?
I think this book, it also, I've learned a lot. And page 137, one sentence say, I can function well as a coach and mentor because I have healthy body. This is due to healthy lifestyle I have obtained playing village football. I think sport can help you to grow as a leader, because it teaches you a lot. Because playing football, remember, you play with different people from different families, so you learn how to handle some of the situation at the workplaces because of your led when you were still a football. So
what were you? I mean, you also played for Schoonoord Chiefs, Monamoledi.
Yes, I
Did
did.
you experience difference of cultures from Manganeng Batau Killers to Schoonoord Chiefs?
Yes.
And when you visited other clubs, could you pick up the difference in cultures, village to village? I'm just curious because I tend to think that sometimes it's the culture that defines the type of village football you play. Let's hear you guys reflecting on that, and also as you go through all these clubs in the book, because they are not just names, they are villages, they are communities, and each of the cultures. So what is the book bringing back?
What is bringing back is that at Schoonoord Chiefs, we used to have supporters, lot of supporters. And we were playing at the SAP League then. We used to call it Castle. We used to travel almost the whole province of Limpopo. When going to away games, they will organize a transport only for the supporters. That's what I've learned at Schoonoord Chiefs. They were very passionate about their team. They made sure they attend all the games, each and every game. Though the play of Schoonoord Chiefs, the culture was not as good as Batau Killers. Because Batau Killers, we used to play carpet football. That's where I enjoyed it the most. But that Schoonoord Chiefs, the play, I didn't understand the play. Because they played the route one. That's the difference between Batau Killers and Schoonoord Chiefs.
No, in terms of, I hear that you say they play different football. So in a case of coming into an environment where you come with your own style of things, and you find that they use a different style, do you find that, did you manage to adapt to their style, or did you impose yours? And today, does that still kind of apply in your workspace, whereby you enter into a space where you find others that are already been there, and they're applying a different model of practice?
Yes. I did that because playing football, like I said, that's Schoonoord Chiefs. It was more of semi-professional.
Yes.
You have to follow the instruction of the coach.
Yes.
There's no way you can play without following the instruction of the coach.
Yeah.
So I had to sit down and then adapt to the culture of football, and that thing it helps a lot now at workplace, because when we get to a workplace, each and every company, they have their own way to run their company.
Yes.
So you have to adapt to their own way of working. That's what helped me a lot.
You have to adapt without also not losing your way of doing things.
Exactly.
Yes.
Sometimes even sometimes when we work with your superior, sometimes I used to tell him, my supervisor, just tell me what you want and what time, and then I will do it my way. You'll get your work done.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as in soccer, I'm sure, that
yes.
much as they played a different style, you still kept your own.
My own, yes.
Style of play, but applying it into what I can say, inculcating it into what they are looking for in terms of their own play.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you have taken that further into the workspace.
The workspace. I first listened to my superior how to do things. And she struck me. We have to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I said, okay, it's fine. And more especially, let me give an example. During December time, that's where there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So you will find that it will pressurize you. That's when I sat down with her. I said, "Bro, you know what? I know there's a lot of pressure. Every morning when I come at the work, just tell me what must I do first, and what do you want me to do? I'll do it, and I will finish before that time." So,
and how about you, Pat?
So on my side, I'm guilty of pushing myself through. I'm guilty of imposing myself. Many in different spaces where I operate and I work will tell you that the only way for you to get it passed is by being approved through PET. I have these tendencies where I'm in many cases I always ask a question, why this way, not that way, and that's what the leadership through sports taught me from the young age. You remember as a youngster at Monamoledi Chiefs, I was a superstar. I was among the top 2 best performers in that team, and I struggled to understand why at Magapung I couldn't break through immediately. But once I broke through, hey, I was playing guitar, my man. It was in many cases it was my way, or we negotiate your way until I'm being convinced. I mean, one of them, when you're talking about Monamoledi moving from club to club, there's a nearby village by us where I used to visit during school holidays to visit my sister and Komamone. And there was a club called it's still there even now, Ranto Tip Top. So I would play for that team whenever I'm at Ranto, and I never once felt like a visitor. One thing that I learned in young age, and through COMETSA corporations as well, it was just enhanced, was that I was never taught, or I was never made conscious of how to fear the next person. It is rather a respect. It is rather a respect and that comes first than fear. So as long as the approach is right, and as long as the approach is appropriate, and you are able to have a discussion on the same level, then there's nothing that says to you cannot have a conversation with the director, you can have a conversation with the president, or whoever it is that you meet. So I was never told to hold back in that particular way. And maybe part of that is why I'm a football coach today, because you will know, Sam will tell you in his professional coaching as well, that you will never be a coach if you have no ability to engage in matters. And by the way, engaging does not necessarily suggest that yours is right and his is wrong. You're just pushing your own agenda, and your agenda is what you believe in, and you pushing it through. So I went to Tip-Top, and I was overimposing, my man. I was the star in that team, and I was pushing myself. I remember we playing a tournament at Try Again. I don't remember what section Try Again is in Mamone, but that was go-hoshing and stuff like those. When after the game, people I don't know if you saw Mane leaving the stadium in Senegal recently. People were asking, "Who's this now? Who's this now?" They were looking for me, and I had to be smuggled out of the field because I came in and I didn't play as a visitor. I was like I think I was like the best Tip-Top player that they were wondering where I came from. So yeah, I always do that, and that's me, and that's who I am, and it's been confirmed in many situations that I'm right. I mean, I work for INVESTEC for business today. Before INVESTEC, it was Blue Strata, and then it was Kunenagel. In all those three companies, the first thing I did when I came in, still in my first month of employment, I'm asking, why don't you have a football club? How do you guys relax after post the stressful day of work? How do you distress? How do you come down, stuff like that? But in me, there was a coach speaking that other than just a relaxation and stuff like those. And they will tell you that I don't keep quiet. Ne? I try hold back, but yeah, I don't keep quiet. A lot of time I say to them, "Hey, sorry guys, I didn't mean to coach. This is social football. I'm supposed to relax and enjoy with you." So yeah, that's in a nutshell, right?
Yeah. Well, when I started, you mentioned two important points. One was passion, and the other one was commitment. And upon later on added another one of support, and then the fourth one was about respect. I'm looking at these four elements as something that is very, very critical, and something that actually made the village football work during our times, and that's why you enjoyed it. Am I correct?
Yes. Well, you are correct. I think the very important thing is discipline.
Yes.
That's what village football does.
Yeah.
You can be a star, but if you're not disciplined, you can't go anywhere.
Okay.
Because discipline is a very important element, especially in life. So village football taught us to be very disciplined.
Okay.
Yes, if I may chip in there, I just want to mention that much as I've already alluded that I played township football, but I had an uncle that owned a club in Sekhukhune, in Mwabe. Yes, in Mwabe, and the club was called Pakasiso. I remember, it's just that, Pat, you just reminded me when you said you played as a visitor. I remember going there, and on the weekend that I was there, they were going to play in Raphahlele. And I was looking forward to showing off my talent, as a Soweto boy in the village. Unfortunately, I got injured in the first 5 minutes of the game.
They'll kick you, especially when they get out of authority.
No, and contrary to that, they didn't kick me. I went for a header, and I landed badly after jumping. So I landed badly, and that was it. I had to be taken out, and I was so bored outside. I started walking. I got lost in Khampashled. But the nice thing that also contributes to that reminds me of what Prasem says in the book, that village football, it's all about the community. Do you know that they did not leave until they found me in Khampashled? Had that happened in Soweto, having gone somewhere else, if I was not there in the bus, I'm not there, they could have gone and left, because there was no one responsible. You were responsible for yourself. You know, so that's what I keep going back and saying, I see the difference every time we speak about village football.
I think something that we must answer so that the listeners satisfied, they have this question. They're probably asking themselves, well, this guy's talking about village football.
Yes,
They're not talking about football.
not football.
Maybe we should try and say, what do we use to distinguish village football from other football?
Yes.
Because we are not saying they are different, but there is something that distinguishes it. And I think you were sharing with us the behavior of the clubs in the township, which was quite very helpful. Maybe if I can ask Pat and Monamoledi and you, Uva, take a back seat a little bit and without rushing, and then really help the people who have never been in the village and experience this. Enumerate the things that for you distinguish village football. And you don't have to over-expatiate, but let's just list the things, like Maimela was saying, that if you are part of a delegation of a team visiting somewhere and you are lost, they will not leave until you are found. The other thing that I know in our time, the team will not leave the village to visit another village unless the village or the leadership designate one of the elders to be part of us. So I think if we do that, it will help people to understand what are we talking about.
Yeah. As I said, when we started, Pat actually mentioned the question of passion, which is very, very, very important. And he also mentioned commitment, and later on, the Monamoledi mentioned support, and then the other one was respect and discipline. I would like us to use these 5 elements to actually differentiate, as you say, Sam, what is a village football and what is ordinary football or the other football.
What are distinguishing features? I mean, we might, even ourselves, we might just continue talking like this, but we can't answer it ourselves, and it doesn't help anybody. But if you go deeper into the book, those things are actually emerging. But let's look at them.
Can I chip in there and say, sometimes what you have, it's so normal to you that you cannot kind of say what's the difference. But me as an outsider, I wish I could say that I understand now the difference between village football as compared to my football in the township. Hence, I made a comparison to Premier League and European soccer. That your village football, I would say it's more like European soccer, whereby every village has its own team. In Europe, it's every city, every town that has, and the bigger the town, the bigger the team, and that just shows you that it is a team for that region. Whereas in the township, a team was not for a region. A team was for a group of people in a certain area that decided that we are going to form our own team. Sometimes there will be a team formed out of another team within a very small area. There will be a team formed out of that. Why? Because it was not a team for the people. It was a team for somebody made of other people.
And in the village, it was unheard of staying in this village, and then you go and play for a team in the next door village.
Yeah, but the most important part is that in our teams, we only had maybe 2 or 3 elders that are always there. They are the runners of the club. We used to call them Bopreza, meaning presidents. We call them Preza, meaning president. They are all president of the team. But there was no such thing as they will ask your parents permission to come and play. No. You went outside, you found a club, you played for it. Your parents didn't even know which team you played for. And people that came to watch you were the only people that were interested in soccer. It was not like a community thing, which is why that at the grounds, you'll find that there will not be any females. There'll only be boys at the ground because it was just a boy thing.
So Maya,
Yeah.
Let's just go back to the village football again and say, what sort of characteristics does it have? I mean, if you look at support that normally people would get, the village football would get, it is so different in many cases than the other ones, because it is their football, it is their club, it belongs to them, they've got control over them, they give them the support and everything, and so on and so on. Meanwhile, the others, as you say, they belong to other people and so on. The village football is part and parcel of the village.
The village, yes.
That's how I know it from the little experience that I have, though I did not even play soccer because my mother could not allow.
But that's the truth. And as we speak, at my village, Manganeng, we have a team now. They call it Manganeng All Star. It's a team of Manganeng. It's not owned by anyone. It's a team of community. And each and every December they are playing tournaments. And when they go to tournament, each and everyone at the village must go there and support them. And mind you, this team started at when was it? 2016. Each and every year, each and every December, they win cup. Each and every December, they win trophy. That's how passionate people of the soccer, people of the village about soccer.
Yeah.
Because each and every December.
So the one distinguishing factor, Monamoledi, is that the ownership, the village clubs are not owned. They are part of the village. Yes. I remember my uncle challenging some guys who were trying to buy the club, and he said, "Where do you buy it from?" He asked them, "Where are you going to buy it from?" Because it doesn't belong to anybody.
Yes, anyone.
Yeah. And Sam, you can expand on that and maybe look at the purpose within which the village football
are still there?
formed.
Yeah, we are here, Bauba.
Yeah.
So you can say,
just hold on, Bauba.
Growing in African traditional way, if I may claim it that way, we say when you are a child of a village, when you're a child born in a village, you belong to the village and you get taken care of by the village. And purposefully so, the village football ideally, like you can put it to the village societies, the village clubs of Ndoni and stuff like that, were ideally formed to take care and to be for the community to be able to take care and look after the kids of that particular village. You obviously have situations where in Madibong, for example, and other villages that are a little bit larger or a little bit bigger, that you divide it in sections, because that way you are able to have as a communal parents to look after each other's kids, because that old men and old men or the old two men that goes to the games with the club is not necessarily just going there to go and watch football, but he goes there as a mentor and as a leader and as a teacher go and look after the kids of the other parents. Tomorrow is another parent taking care of doing the same thing. So purposefully, that is for me the defining factor of what the village football is. And remember, it was never, and it will never, and it can never be commercial. It was always about the promotion of the village and the promotion of the well-being of the kids of the village and the communities, and in understanding in the understanding of Ubuntu and growing up together in that sense.
Yes.
So that doesn't.
That's a distinguishing feature. Actually, that's one fundamental feature.
I was just about to say that, even in the book, Prasem mentions that, it kind of was solving many societal problems unconsciously so, and that is in page 139. Let me just read the whole paragraph. It says, if you're born physically weak, you can rectify that through participation in sports. Some of us address such development gaps by playing village football without even being aware. That is what mass participation in sports does to society, solving many societal problems unconsciously. Now, that said, I say to you, that's the difference. That's one of the fundamental difference between village football and any other football, because I played in the townships and I know that was not part of football in my life. It did not stop me from smoking ganja. It did not stop me. We did that right before the game. Yes, and you have to be a good player to be in the team, and the better you are in the team, the more you are allowed to go astray, because if they don't allow you to do what you like to do, then you're just gonna say, okay, I'll move to another team. That's the difference. It did not kind of.
And I think just
which is something. If I may chip in my.
Just hold that thought there, because I'm keeping on wanting us to enumerate the distinguishing features. Mai has just mentioned another key feature, and which is also in the book in chapter 139. It was not about that whether you are good or not. As long as you belong to the village, you are part of the team, you will participate in football, and they will find a role for you. You will not be kicked out because you can't play. There will be a role for you. You will even accompany the club to the games.
Because you know what he's saying, Per? It's very important that I tell you this story. I hope I don't take too much time. But in my team, there was a time that we had this player that he wasn't that far away from my house. Actually, his house was opposite my house, and my coach's house is also opposite my house. This boy's house was back opposite. My coach's and the owner of the team is back opposite. So there was a story that when we were growing up, the father of this guy killed somebody with an axe. So that was the story that we grew up knowing. It happened years before. I don't even remember. I only know the story. I was too young to have seen that or witnessed that. I grew up knowing the story. And this boy one day, he comes to the team and they put him in. But he's not such a good player. And because he's not such a good player, the coach looks at him and asks, who's this boy? He doesn't know him. And they explained that, no, this boy is from Mice, where Mice stays, the house then. He says, oh, that boy, that is father. No, you must go out. I don't want killers. The poor boy might have made one mistake in the soccer field, but he was just through the sins of his father. He was not judged by his way also.
So I think what you're saying is another feature, because I'm trying to help ourselves. Is the inclusivity.
Yes. Yes. I was going to come, Sam, on that page 139 page that you just quoted, and 154, when you start mentioning the clubs, for example, in the Sekhukhune region, your Jennifer's Highlanders, Mokwete Morning Stars, and Moretsela Wanderers, etc., etc. And I go back to Mai and I say 2 points, Mai. One, in our situation, there's always going to be inclusivity, because the other main purpose was to try and build and was to try and rehabilitate.
Yes,
I don't know if the parents were consciously aware of that, but I suspect they were, because they will make sure that you're integrated into the society. You are not seen as an outsider, or whatever the case might be. I mean, I dare say, even if you were being adopted by mama and you stay with us and you become mama's child by default because of adoption or whatever, you belong to that particular region and you will pay. They won't say your father killed this and stuff like those. So it was that purpose.
yes.
The second thing that highlights that purpose, for example, if I go to Madibong, you had Madibong Magapung, you had Jinoko, you had sweepers, and you had Makwaitos, which the way are still existing today. You wouldn't be Wanako Mukhajan. Remember, we are on the borderline of Mukhajan and Skutong, but we fall under Mukhajana. It was kind of, for a lack of a better way, a bit of a taboo that and playing for sweepers, and people are saying like, how? Kanjani, because you're supposed to be part of us here.
Yes,
It's like a team. We are family, the family team, as Mukhajana family, as Suklom family, as a Masiolong family, and it is known that whether you are good or bad, this is where you belong. Even if you are facing number 10 like Monamoledi, supers will not dare come recruit you. Because if they do that, they taking one of us, of our family, to go into a different camp and stuff like those. So that was a strong connection that we had among each other.
And that's the truth. I remember one time I left Batau and Killers because I felt like I don't have competition anymore. So I went on to join another team. It was called Brazil FC. Not knowing that the legends of Batau Clans will be very angry at me. And they were very angry. They asked me, why did you leave this team? I said to them, no, like I've been playing for this team for long now. So I need like competition now. Because at that Batau Killers, I knew like each and every game I'll get in. And I'll play almost the whole 90 minutes. So,
and you didn't understand it wasn't about that. It was about the family. Yes, sorry, continue.
It was about the family.
Apologies.
But then I sat down and then said to myself, no, man, I can't do this. I need competition. I have to join the team that is have more qualified players, so that I can know I play up my socks. I went on and then joined Brazil FC. Oh, they were angry talents. all of them wanted
because they are saying that we handed over this team to, because the other distinguishing feature is that there was generation after generation hands over the team, and then each generation had its own challenges. So when you leave, you are almost like you are abdicating your responsibility of continuing the village team. And that is another distinguishing feature. And look, even today it's still happening, but it's not as before. And I think the lessons from that is that, so as Pat was saying, the reason for this team existing was not just football. It was existing for the village, for the children of the village. And it was clear that when we retire, our brothers will continue. It was a cultural project. And that is what kept, that's why today, I mean, I knew Manganeng Batau and Killers before you were born, Monamoledi. And today you are talking about it as if it was started by you, and it was your uncle.
My uncle
came after Umatale. Umatale handed over to your uncle handed over to you. And you expected to hand it over. So that is another distinguishing feature. It's a cultural project, it's not a class.
From one generation to another.
Sam, if I can just come in, there is also an element of loyalty. There is something is called the spirit, the corps. We are part and parcel of this whole community. This is an asset for the community as well.
That's why the parents will come to the games.
Exactly. This is our thing. We need to support it. It is support our heroes. It is our people who made us proud and everything.
If I may come up, you are raising a very important aspect, which I was not even aware of. But I just want to go back during the time of apartheid, and I'm going to just show you how much village football was important, especially during that time, and what impact it has made even today. I'll tell you that during apartheid, there's what they called conscription, where young white teenagers will go and train in the army, and that in training there, that was their way of being patriotic, being loyal to the constitution of the country at that time. And even today, you'll find that Afrikaners, they are the most patriotic when it comes to this country. And you in the villages, you had village soccer, which also did the same thing that conscription was doing to these youngsters, white youngsters. It was giving you a sense of belonging, and at the same time teaching you loyalty and patriotism. And I can tell you, even today, when you take a person from rural area, compare that person to a person that was born in the township in urban area, and look at their loyalty towards where they come from. It is not the same.
Exactly.
That's the point that Baba raised.
Yes.
But one distinguishing feature is that you are actually more loyal. It's not even being loyal to the club, you're loyal to the village, because the club is the project of the village.
Yes.
I think that, for me, is a very, very powerful thing, and it really even explains to us why it was, you'll hear parents say, if you go and recruit a player from another village, sometimes like Diki, the uncle to Monamoledi, will come to Ribani. And then the parents will say, but Kiwanamangu. Yeah. Will say, no, this slow man, no. Slow man, no. So they want to find out, how do you come and play?
And what
Who are you?
relation
But what part of
relation to the village was very important. That you can't just come from nowhere, and that still plays a role. That's why, hence, I was very shocked as I was growing up, when I started visiting my uncle in Sekhukhune, in Moabi, Uncle Sesha, may his soul rest in peace. When I got there, the amount, the cleanliness of the village as compared to where I was coming from, I was used, we just grew up littering wherever we want. And in the villages, much as they didn't have dustbins as we did, you'd never come across a piece of paper on the street. You'll never come across litter on the
So hold it there, because I'm coming back to what is he saying is another distinguishing feature.
Yes.
Orderliness, cleanliness,
yeah.
and self-love and pride.
Yes.
Yeah. But I want to put it in context as well, to say, in today's context, because I want us to be understood, we are not saying that we should go back into the lacha, because that could be seen as a lacha mentality.
Yes.
We are just saying that then it had its own place. Today, the reason for belonging, and I see it happening in Muribani Scientists, where players coming from the other villages, now when they come and play, they all of a sudden they become the members of the village, even though they don't come from the village.
Yes.
Now, all of a sudden, now the club is becoming an avenue of other people coming to play. And guess what? Even people now coming and build their houses, become part of us, having been introduced to the village by their children.
Oh, yes.
So I think this is, for me, also putting it in the context to say, it is not necessarily us saying, go back to the lacha type of thing where you block other people. We are just saying that was the character. What is the character today? And maybe you, Pat, and Monamoledi, now, you are still involved. Tell us what is happening. Maybe we should.
Yeah. Yeah. Colleagues, I think I'm glad we are where we are now, but one issue I have got is that we agreed that we're actually going to somehow unpack and say what are the things that we actually have learned from this soccer thing. How did that contribute to the people like Rapet and Monamoledi to where they are today? Like Sam is where he is today. I don't want us to lose sight of that element.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we look at that one to say
how it contributed to where I am today?
Yes,
we don't have much time, but I think let's touch on that one. I know we mentioned in passing earlier on, but I think the village football should say this is what it has made me today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a football development coach, as many of you know.
Yeah.
And in my space, I meet kids of different backgrounds. Those that come from the village, those from different cultures, and different behavior patterns and so forth. And one thing that I take out of my experiences as I was growing, that I use in my coaching space today is the ability to understand and approach them in the manner that is befitting from who they are and where they come from, with a little background that I have from the experiences that I had as I was growing up, from the teams that I played for, from the village that I played for, and including the teams in Johannesburg that I played for as well, and the people that I encounter in my space. When I was in matric, my neighbor Peter Mateban, I remember one day saying to my brother Sam, when Sam had visited home, I don't know, this one, don't worry about him. He's either at home studying. I was doing matric. He's either at home studying or he's going to play football or he's playing soccer. And today, in today's world, I say to the kids the same thing as well. I actually say to the parents, because in my age stage of the 15-year-old, the parents are very much integral part of our team. I actually go to an extent of saying to them, if they fail the test at school, please don't bring them to training the following day. The kids will laugh and take it hard and not understanding. But I had learned to understand the togetherness of the two objectives in terms of the studies and the sports as a career. And I'm thankful for into Johannesburg and going into the programs like First FC, COMETSA Goldstones, and all the programs that we've gone through under the COMETSA development agencies and so forth, because through those I was able to develop my own, if I can claim, my own coaching model that inculcate and accommodate the two spheres of life in terms of the life of education and life of sports as a career, and what you can get out of sports. Because now I'm able to show the kids that not every one of us will make it as a professional footballer, but maybe not every one of us has to be a professional footballer, and I'm a living example.
Okay,
Sam will tell you that. Yeah.
Let me get in there. But I think me, village football, I used to control midfield. Now I'm controlling quality. As a quality control at my workplace. And as a quality control, there is a crucial decisions that you have to make. And then village football, as a midfield, it taught me that decisions, how to make decisions. Like when we were playing a village football, especially as a midfield, we have to know when to hold the ball, when to pass the ball, when to kick the ball. In workplaces, you know how to take decisions, and very crucial decisions. There are some of the decisions that you have to take, and they are not easy. So that village football taught me how to make a good decisions.
Yeah, thinking on your feet, Monamoledi, if I may put it that way.
Yes.
Thinking on your feet. Because on the field of football,
thinking out of the box. Because in the field of football, we have to be a quick thinker. We have to think quick and then take decision at the same time.
Yes, one of our training drills that we do, we call it I always say 2 seconds, 2 touches.
Yeah.
So that means you've got 2 seconds to decide, and you've got 2 touches to decide what you know, what your next move is. Then that builds you. That really builds you, and to be somebody who can think on your feet and trust your gut feeling and the process of
and also creativity. You have to be creative.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I always find myself, by the way, and this is funny because I think the entire office knows that I'm, even those that are in a different division, they knows that I'm a football person. I always, whenever I find myself in the meetings, in the conversation, I always bring football perspective. I said, but if it was in football, we will say this and stuff like those, and I try to squeeze it in, I push it in.
Yeah.
Even when I talk to the kids or something unrelated to football, I always find myself as saying, yes, I always find myself saying, bring it back to football perspective, and I'll tell you what I say, and that is because I'm every day 24/7 a football coach, and that for me the passion and the commitment and the love for it came from back then in the days when I played for no cent. And I played for no purpose, and it was just the love of it and the commitment that I got through the football. And thanks to those who came before us, because even if it wasn't through them, we probably will have been scattered. And I actually challenged myself, and I challenge a lot of colleagues. I challenge Monamoledi as well, and I challenge all of you colleagues in the studio to say, Magapung is still there. When you go home, please visit those kids and give them a word of encouragement. Exactly. Go there and visit them, and don't think you're wasting your time.
Yeah, just at that point, I'm looking at time. If you could all, as we make your remarks now, think of checking out, because we left with 7 minutes. Whatever you haven't been able to share with us from your review of the chapter, just sum it up using those guidelines that we normally have at the end of each chapter. You don't have to say all of them, but let's maybe think of how we reflect on the 2 hours of review of the chapter because of time. Maybe while you can take the lead so that others can follow, because we it's been wonderful, and time is just the only thing that is giving us the reason to bring it to end. As I always say, ditaba di fele go fela nako. Over.
This was a wonderful discussion. I picked up 5 important points about the soccer village: the passion, the commitment, the support that we get, the respect and the discipline. These are very, very important, and they make people grow in their life. Thank you.
Beautiful. Do you have some remarks, or let's start with Patrick, and we'll Pat, your close remarks and
let me quickly say, I think we need 2 more hours, and then I also
agree.
And I also want to say, I go back to my love for the book and say, it is about time that we change the curriculum and leave our own perspective, because our perspective is the immediate experiences within which we can build the future leaders from. You're confusing our kids and our little ones by teaching them the foreign perspective, and they never relate it back home, and it's difficult for them to maneuver. However, I want to say I commit to continue my journey of football development through the work that I do with the Joburg City FC, Corinthians FC, and many other colleagues that I associate with, some of them coming from the professional football, because I know, and I'm a witness to the fact that we are not only developing footballers, but we're developing human beings, and we're developing future leaders. Thank you.
If I may come, and then I want to go back to the book, the whistle one. It's so very important, and it played a very big role now, because time management it taught me how to manage time. And actually, if you're an entrepreneur or you're in a business world, if you can't manage your time, you won't be a good businessman. That's what we taught a lot about. I learned a lot about in this book. Time management, very, very, very important.
Yes.
Very important. Exactly.
In closing, for me, I take home today. It kind of made me a little bit sad, but at the same time, it has really brightened my evening in a sense that I have always wanted to know the difference between us as urbanites and villagers, and today I learned a lot through village football, because it was not just a village football, it was a cultural project in which every village had its own responsibility to teach their young ones loyalty, to teach them conviction, because you cannot play soccer without conviction. And it also taught their children. Their children were also taught purpose, how to find your own purpose, which Sam writes about it in this book, that he found his purpose through football. And if you were to ask me, that's something that you would not find playing soccer, because you must remember that without conviction, you can never find your purpose. So for me, this has really given me so much insight in terms of the difference between village football and township football. I can tell you now that there was a time in our area, if we once got into a car accident, in a minibus accident, going to play at Orlando Stadium. We got injured, but some of us, that because we are not favorites of the coach and the president of the team, the everything of the team, we were not taken to hospital or anything. We're just given rubbing massage that you'll get well. But the others, the favorites, were taken to hospital. So for me, that never happened. That would never have happened in the village. And I really applaud. I really applaud village football. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow, indeed, Pat, we need 2 more hours. Thank you so much for such a good review. We are really appreciating that. It's wonderful. There's so much to learn. If you go to chapter 8, please make sure that you read my dedication to my village football club, the Muribane Scientists FC, my village football club. There's a poem there written in the book. That's how much I loved village football in my club. I hope you also have a poem for your own village football clubs. Next week, we continue with chapter 9, self-discovery. Oh man, another interesting chapter. And our reviewers is going to be Louisa Muhuli and Vatseva Mamrari. I hope they have been listening and they are inspired to take us through chapter 9 next week. And it's already halfway, and Vauva will give us a reflective comment in terms of where we come from, the chapter, the book as a whole, and the whole idea of the chapter featuring so often in so many of the chapters in the book. Culture featuring as a common theme. Thank you so much. The book is obtainable on Amazon online retail store if you want to get hold of it. Collect